Are you coming back to school with me? We could.
Welcome. Thank you very much for tuning into this video. If you're here, it's because you've made a choice to start trying to make some changes in your life. I know that New Year's Eve is a typical time people make those New Year's resolutions, and typically before the month of January is done, they've broken those resolutions and completely given up on them. What I'm proposing is not a New Year's resolution at all, or if it's a New Year's resolution, just say that you're going to get into monthly goal setting. But the idea of monthly goal setting, where I think it is far better than the New Year's resolution, is that it allows for failure and it allows for chances to start again without having to wait a whole year to do so. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to look at setting monthly goals, how to do that. Now, I've been doing this for years now with my students at school, and I have found, without any exaggeration, it has literally transformed my life. It has changed so much. I feel a much stronger person, a much better person for it. But I'll leave for you to discover those benefits for yourself and how it's going to help you. But I mean, it's one of those things, you get out of it what you put into it. But it's been interesting because part of what I do is I post it on Facebook, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But by doing so, I've had people come up to me and talk to me about it, and it's been interesting for me to see, because sometimes you put things on Facebook, and I mean, if you don't get the likes and you don't get the the comments and stuff, then you don't know. And I mean, it's true. I mean, you don't know, are people looking or not. But I've had a number of people who come up to me privately in private messages or whatever, or in person, and talk to me about my goal setting and asked about it. And some people have even asked for the templates I use in order to create their own. What I thought I'd do today is take it one step further, and instead of just talking about or sharing the files with people, is actually show from the ground up how I do this and what am I doing. So this is sort of it. This is, you're going to start off in the beginning here, and I would recommend strongly that if you don't have a Gmail account, that you get a Gmail account, because a Gmail account is going to allow you access to a Google Drive, and a Google Drive is going to be something very useful for just saving all of your goals, because that's, I think a big part of it is being able to save those goals so that you can look at them again later. So if you don't have a Google Drive, you're going to just come up to the top here in the top corner, and you're going to set up your own Google account. And once you've done that, then you're going to have this what sometimes we call the waffle. This waffle at the top right corner here is the 3x3 array and of squares, and this is going to open up for you the thing. Now, actually, full disclosure, I've got my toolbar here for the video. It's right over top of where the waffle would be, so I can't actually show it to you. There we go. So clicking that waffle, you have these different things, and so Google Drive tends to be one of the first ones there, and so you just click on the Google Drive, and it's going to take you into your Google Drive. And this is my Google Drive for school, and it has all of the things in here. So like I said, I do this with my students at school, so I have students here, but mine are at the bottom. So I'm just going to blank out the names at the top here, because you don't need to know my students' names. But at the bottom here, I have all my goals from this year. And this is what I do is I always tell my students, save the goals, keep them from month to month, and you can go back and you can look at them and evaluate and assess and see, I did well, I didn't do well, and maybe why didn't you do well, and think about those kinds of things. That's all going to be part of it. So I will so this is my December goals, which I've just finished. So I'll be setting my new January goals. I'm going to walk you through that as I go through. But before I do that, what I want to do is I want to share with you a file here, and I think I just closed it by accident, so I'm going to open it here. So this is something I can share with you as well. I mean, this is something I made for my students, but I mean, if you just get past the fact that it's made for kids, whatever, the message is still good. When I set my goals, I'm very focused on the idea of the SMART goals, and this is something I talk to my students about a lot. That the acronym SMART, and that each letter stands for something. So S is specific. You have to be very specific about the goals that you're setting. Like one example I say to them is, don't tell me I'm going to get better at math. Well, math is so many different things. It's numbers, it's geometry, it's algebra, it's it's patterns and graphs, all kinds of different things. So you need to be very specific. Even saying I'll get better at multiplication, be specific. 2-digit, single digit. What is the multiplication? Even within single digit multiplication, be specific about which one. So the more specific you are in your goal setting, the more likely you are to be successful, because you're going to be focusing your efforts in the right area. Measurable. Don't say things like I'm going to be happier. I mean, how do you measure that? How do you know if you're happier? You want to make sure that your goal is something that you can say, I've done this. So, for example, reading a book. When I'm doing my Tagalog lessons, I'm saying, okay, I'll do 10 minutes of this for so many days. Each time I do a day of 10 minutes, I can cross off a box, right? So you have it as a measurable thing. And as I say, the boxes, you'll see that I use boxes to check off how I'm doing. An action plan. So again, you need to be very specific about what you're going to be doing. Again, so don't just say, going back to the example of multiplication, I know this is I'm falling back to this because this is what I talk about with my students, but it tracks through. I mean, if you think about the goals that you're going to be setting, you'll see what I mean. So if you're saying I'm going to get better at my 6, 7, 8 times tables, what are you going to do to get better at your 6, 7, 8 times tables? What is your specific plan to get better at it? Just like me at Tagalog lessons, I mean, I have to have a specific app or specific program or specific something I'm using in order to do that. So I have to know exactly what am I going to be doing in order to reach these improvements that I'm looking to reach. R is reasonable. You need to make sure that your goals are going to be reasonable. Now, reasonable, like I like to think of like Goldilocks. Not too easy, not too hard, something just that's going to challenge you, but not frustrate you or just be ridiculously easy. I mean, in some ways, I'd rather even it be, for the first while anyway, that your goals are easy. That way you feel encouraged. It's a very encouraging feeling when you get them done. But if you're pushing yourself too hard, it's just going to lead to frustration. And then the T is time bound. People need deadlines, and that's the big problem with the New Year's resolution. Is it's just like from now and forever, I'm going to do this. Like I'm going to say quit smoking. Well, I remember my dad used to say that a lot when we were kids. This is it, New Year's resolution. I'm quitting smoking, and then a few weeks in, boom, he'd fall off the wagon and be smoking again, and that was it. He's ruined his goal, so he gave up. Well, this is a month-long thing. So if whatever your goal is, you're doing it for 1 month, and you have 1 month to do all of those things that you say you're going to do. Remember, it needs to be measurable. So again, quitting smoking is not exactly something measurable unless you're reducing the amount that you're smoking or something. But anyway, the time bound is you're looking to things by the end of the month, and you have until the end of the month to do these things. And having that deadline, that little bit of pressure, and that immediate deadline, because it's only 1 month, and it's really good for encouraging and motivating to get those things done. Because if you're like me, sometimes a big procrastinator, you can wind up looking and saying, oops, I'm running towards the end of the month now, and I am not close to doing my goal, so I need to really sort of step things up here. And as was the case this last month, I looked at it and I said, oh, it's this last week and I still have to go to the gym 7 times, and it's Monday now, I'm not going to do it. But then I realized towards the end of the week, well, going into Thursday, I'd gone to the gym. I said, if I go Friday 2 times and Saturday 2 times, so go morning and evening, I can actually do this. And that's exactly what I did. So having that motivation and the time bound, knowing I had that deadline of December 31st, that's it, motivated me to get it done. And that's a big factor in being successful with the goal setting. All right, so getting on to the goals then. So like I say, so you go into Google, you create your Google account, you go. So once you have Gmail, if you have Gmail already, you have a Google Drive. You just have to go to this waffle or this 3x3 array up at the top here, and it goes into here, and you can start to create your own folders. So you go here, new, you create a new folder and call it goals, and you create your goals. So I have a goal folder here. So once you've created your goals, I can give you the template and you get yourself started. But this is what I do now, now to the end. So I'm just going to, these are all my weekly goals from before. I'm going to just scroll down and delete them because I don't need those anymore. And I'm going to go into here, and this is my January goals now. January goals. And oops, I need to make a copy because again, I want to keep my old goals. So my January goals, make a copy. And now with this December goals, I'm just going to press Control Z. I'm going to undo all the changes I made. I want to keep all that stuff. That stuff is good information. Okay, now that I've made my January goals thing, I'm going to here. So I'm going to be reading a book. Now, this book was 1,007 pages. I'm not going to be, now I had time off during the holidays to do that. I'm not going to have the same time off. So I'm going to read one half of, it's Fire from Heaven, or Heaven, Fire from Heaven. Okay, this is the Wheel of Time books. Biotech, the Great Hunt, Dragon Reborn, Shadow Rising, Fires of Heaven. Okay, so it's Fires of Heaven is the book I'm reading now. Fires of Heaven. Now this book is 900 and something pages again, so so I'm going to be reading, say, let's just say 500 pages. Okay, so it's roughly 1,000 pages. So now, so in different ways to do this. So I can do this as like 1/4, 1/2, 3/4 done, and I just need to figure out the fraction. What is 1/4 of 500? Or I could just do it 500 pages, each box, and that equals 50 pages. So maybe I'll do it that way, and that way it's going to be more useful for me for the tracking. So now, when I'm just going to come into here, so I'm clicking this. I'm just going to, oh, just a second time I've done that. Right, save and close. So I just want, when I send this template to you, you'll have a blank box. Now I'm just going to click the box so it outlines like this. I'm pressing Control C to copy it, and then I'm just going to make, so it's 10, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. So that's 10 boxes, which is going to be 500 pages. So that's my boxes there. So I was just pressing Control C to copy the box, and then Control V to paste the box. I'm going to do one update for my YouTube channel, and I will make 4 videos this month. I'm going to try and get my my rhythm going back again, and make 5 videos for the Duel of Ages thing I'm doing. So sure, let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And practice my Tagalog lessons 20 times. I was getting back into a rhythm doing it every day, so I want to get back to that rhythm. So I'm going to say 31 times. Now, this is one thing I strongly encourage, is don't say something when you're doing your goals, don't say every day. Because as soon as you say something you're going to do it every day, and you miss a day, you've automatically failed your goal, and it's very discouraging. I'm saying not every day, I'm just saying 31 times. So that way, if I do miss a day for whatever reason, I can always go back and not go back. I can always just do it twice the next day. And if I miss like a few days, I'm just going down and do it twice for a few days in a row to make it up again. So whatever I need to do to make it up is it. But it's going to be 31 times, which is the equivalent of once per day. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I put a line here. So that way the organization of these things by tens is very useful for tracking. And now I will copy that. So that's 20, 30, and now I'll just Control C and Control V, 1 there. So that way now I have 31. So same thing here, 31 times for my Tagalog flashcards. So these are cards I've made up myself. From the apps I've been using, I take the words, I take the phrases, and I put them onto flashcards, and I'm using those just to keep myself going with those and try to make sure that I'm retaining these words that I've been learning. So I just cut and paste that down here, so it's the same. And now my physical activity goal, and that's the funny thing. Sometimes it takes a while for these boxes to come in. It helps sometimes to put a space afterwards. I don't know why it takes so long. Okay. So now what I'll do is I'll go here. Now, going to the gym, so I'm thinking to myself, what is reasonable? Now, what has been something I said is reasonable to me before is to go Monday through Thursday, and if I do that, I can have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. That's been working for me. So let's look at that. So look at my calendar here then. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, that'll be 16, and then 17, 18. So for the last 2 days here, it'll be 2 more. So that's going to be my goal then. So I'm going to go 18 times. So, oops, so too much, but that's fine. So I'll just, this will be 20 here, so 19, 18, and I'll just delete the other ones. And just wait for that thing, this other thing to come in. Okay, so that's it. That's my monthly goals for January then. Now, you're going to be doing what is good for you, what you think is going to be manageable for you. But I really encourage using these boxes and checking things off as you go, because that's part of the measurable thing and being able to track your progress and everything. Now, what is also very important, I think, is to do it in weekly goals. So I cut and paste everything down here. And now this one I'm going to put to the side here. Weekly goals, January. Now I always do it from the Monday to the Sunday. So my weekly goals from December are actually still in play right now because it's a weekly goal. So it kind of, I'm going to start next Monday for this one. So it may be different in some cases. Like if the week was in the middle, I might have made it the weekly goal till just for the remainder of that week. But in this case, because the Sunday is just 1 day here, I'm going to do that. I'm not going to upset the whole rhythm I'm used to. So I'm going to go from the 2nd to the 8th. So 2nd to 8th. So 2 to 8. Now, so what do I think is reasonable for me to be reading for this in this time? Now, again, see these boxes are being silly and they're not showing up, but it's okay. I can always paste some more in. So I will read, now how many pages do I think I can read in a week? So if I'm reading, so if I want to read 500, so that's about 125 pages a week. Because if you divide 500 by 4, it's 125. So let's just say that. 125 pages. So that's basically what you're going to be doing though, is like you're looking at how many weeks you have. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks and a little bit. So you have to ask yourself how much, so dividing that by the number of weeks you have to break it down into your weekly goals. Okay, I just had to press the refresh button here to try and get this back. But so these boxes aren't coming up. That's not a big deal. You just always copy and paste them back in. So I'm reading 125 pages, what I said. So 125 pages of Fires of Heaven. Okay, so let's make it, each box is 5 pages. Okay, and then we can go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, which is 10. So that's 100. And then copy, copy that one. That's 100, 10, 20, 30, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So there's 125 pages now. So actually this morning I read, I can't remember exactly how many, but it was about up to 30. So I will double check that. But so we can always just double click this, and this is where I go in here and I put in a shape. So I click this, and I come to this thing here that says shapes, and this is where you can just add whatever shape you like. So we're happy about setting goals, so I'm going to put a happy face in there, and this paint bucket here, the fill color, I can fill it with whatever color I want, so I'll make a yellow happy face. And I save and I close, and then that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So I've read 30 pages. So I haven't quite read 50 pages yet, so I'm not crossing that box here, but I am working towards that. So YouTube videos now. Okay, so those are in there. 5 YouTube videos here, 2, 3, 4, 5, and practice my Tagalog lessons now. Again, I'm only doing this for 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because this is a weekly goal now, and I'm breaking down my monthly goal into the weekly goal, and the idea was that I want to do this stuff every day again. So if I do it for 7 times this week, then I'm keeping up with the goal. And if I don't do it 7 times this week, I just have to do it a little bit more next week to catch up again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the idea was I'm going to go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I'm going to the gym 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is my weekly goals then. So now what I do from here is I am going to not break this down. I'm going to take a screenshot of this. And the way I do that is I press the shift button and print screen. On my computer, it's on the right side. It's PRT-SCN. Now I know some keyboards are different. You might have to look up how to do that. So I'm pressing shift and print screen together. It doesn't show anything. It doesn't look like anything's happened, but it doesn't look like it's done anything, but it has. It's taken a snapshot of your screen. Now, I just realized that one of the limitations of the software I'm using here is just that I can't go into my desktop without shutting down the video. So what I'm doing, on my desktop, I have different pictures and things on the desktop, and sometimes I just save them there just for this exact purpose. I right-click the picture, and then on the sub-menu, it gives me options, and I go to the one that says Open With, and I'm looking, so I go to that, and then I get choices of what program do I want to open that picture with, and I want Microsoft Paint. So this is an old picture I had for an old video I did, but so there, look, this handsome devil here. And so I open this picture with Microsoft Paint. And then what I'm doing, after I've done my screenshot, I'm going to press Control and V. And so there is my, let me do that again, because that's the old one. So coming here, so Shift, Print Screen, and then I'm going Control V. There you go. So this is, see how it's the whatever's ever my screen, the whole thing. And I can move it around, but you see it doesn't scroll down on the document because it's just like a photograph, right? So I'm going to click the select button, and I'm going to put a box around what I want here, which is my January goals. So then I'm pressing Control X, or I can just go up here to cut. I can hit the cut button, and then I'm going into my Facebook, and I'm going to January goal, new month means new goals. Come join me in this striving for self-improvement. And no, I'm not going to make goals to improve my typing skills. A video is being filmed as I type this. Now, you can't just hit enter here because otherwise it's going to put that up as the document. So I'm hitting the shift button and then enter to go below. And then I'm pressing Control V for the paste function. And now it's pasting in my goal, and I post that. Boom, done. So that is my monthly goals posted there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go underneath. I want to post my weekly goals as well. Weekly goals for the first week. And I'm scrolling down to this one now, so I'm getting a snapshot of this. And shift and print screen. I'm going back to my image here. Control V for paste. And then I'm selecting that part. Control X to cut it out. And then coming into my thing here, oh, wrong one, Facebook, and Control V to paste. And we're done. All right. So now my weekly goals and my monthly goals are posted. And I think this kind of thing to be transparent and thing is very important, that you always have them up there for other people to see, and you never know who you might be inspiring with them as well. But just having that thing where people can check on it and know what you're working on, it helps to keep me accountable for my goals. I think that's really, really important. Now, when you're doing them, make sure that you're checking them off. And if you don't complete your goals by the end of the month, that's almost to be expected for the first little while until you start getting used to it and getting to the use of the rhythm of doing goals and getting to the habits. Don't beat yourself up about it. But what you need to do is really honestly assess and ask yourself, why didn't the goals get done? Is it that you were honestly too busy? I mean, I hear that a lot, that people say, oh, I'm just too busy to do this, this, this. Well, yeah, like how much TV did you watch and how much time did you spend playing nonsense games on your phone apps and stuff? I mean, just there is time. If we really want to do something and it is important to us, we will make the time to do it. So make these goals a priority for you. My goals, I mean, yes, I've been doing it for years, so my goals are quite extensive here, and I wouldn't expect people to dive into this, from the beginning. But build up to it. Build up with things that you want to be doing. Start reading a book, start learning a language, start doing just whatever it is you want to do to improve yourself. And, I made that joke about I'm not going to be making goals to improve my typing. Well, it's not really a joke, because I'm not. Why not? Isn't typing not? Because I'm already stretched pretty tight here with my time. I have time that I'm relaxing. Could I make time? Yeah, but it's not that important to me. Like I was talking to somebody else the other day, now he doesn't do Wordle, he does Worldle, which is like, guessing countries, and I mean, my geography knowledge is terrible. But again, it's not the kind of thing that I want to devote more time and energy into learning more about. I'm okay with the fact that I'm not great with my geography knowledge. It's not an important thing to me in my life. The things I'm doing here and my goals are. And that's what you need to ask yourself. And so when it comes to the end of the month, if you haven't achieved your goals, you need to decide, was it really that these goals were too hard, or was I just not working enough towards them? Right? And then ask yourself, then what do you need to do then? Maybe that you could do them if you tried harder, but maybe sometimes just reducing your goals a little bit, and so that you can achieve them. They're more achievable, and then you can work yourself up. But as I showed you with my December goals before, here, that when I was going beyond my goals, I put a red star. And that's, again, important to know that, hey, I can actually do this if I just push myself a little harder. So that's good information to know, so that when you're setting your goals for the next month, that maybe you could increase them a little bit and work more, right? It's just like working out. You don't start off with the heaviest weights first, you build up to it. So start off with some goals here, and as you start to learn what your true potential is and your capabilities are, then build up to it. But I hope you found this helpful. I hope to see more people doing this, because to me, like I said, I think this is the kind of thing everybody should be doing. I've told my students for as many years as I've been doing this that I hope that once they leave my classroom, even if there's no adult forcing them to do this, that they do continue to do this, because I just think it is so amazingly helpful, so important, so much good that can come from this, that I just want them to continue. So I hope that you will continue with me, and I look forward to seeing your goals on Facebook or whatever other social media platforms. And if you want those files for setting up the templates, then please let me know, and I'll be happy to send those your way. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye.
Are you coming back to school with me? We could have done it all.